Good morning, family, and welcome to today's Lessons for Life. Today is Saturday, October 18th, 2008, and today we are reading in Genesis chapter 19. And today I have my son, Isaiah.
Good morning, everyone.
Good morning. Good. Okay, so now Genesis 19. There was really a lot of stuff in Genesis chapter 19, so I'm sure we're not able to touch on everything, but once again, I encourage you all to read the entire chapter, and you can add your what you got to our blog by clicking on the link over that time. Okay? Now, Isaiah, you was able to read that chapter, and what did you get out of it?
I got that you should always listen to God.
Okay, good. Always listen to God. What was something that stuck out for you in Genesis 19?
Because God told Lot that he should go to the mountains because God was going to destroy
Sodom and Gomorrah. Yeah, Sodom and Gomorrah.
That he was living in. But at first, Lot didn't really think that he should do it, so he questioned God, and God told them to not look back, and then Lot's wife looked back and turned into a pillar of salt.
Oh, very good, very good. Because I was going to talk about a couple of things. That was one thing, and I'll just mention that briefly with Lot's wife, because you'll see in the scripture where it says she looked back from behind him. And once again, as we go about understanding the structure of the family, Lot was following the command of God, and his wife is supposed to be following him, and then the children follow thereafter, and we'll read about that further in the Bible as we go through. But as we've been talking about in last recent chapters, that the male is the head of the household. So now it says that his wife looked back from behind him, so she was behind him, and she should have just kept looking back. She should have just kept looking towards her husband, who was ahead, who was leading her away from the city. But she decided to look back, and she turned into what?
A pillar of salt.
Okay, very good. So she turned into a pillar of salt, and that was it, just because of her disobedience. Now, what I wanted to make mention of, which I thought was very good, and it seems like I always get a lot of stuff from the beginning of the chapter, as even if I read through the entire chapter, something comes to me from the beginning. That's why I encourage you to go to the video blog and add your own comments to it, because there's a lot of stuff, as I always say, that you can get from the chapters. But what I immediately saw at the beginning was, did you see where they were talking about there were two angels that came?
Yeah, two angels came.
And what I was going to say was, the angels usually, as we think about it, are like celestial beings with, a halo and, flying in white. Isn't that right?
Yes.
But were they that kind of, was that what they were in this chapter? Do you remember?
No, they were walking.
Exactly, they were men. So that was something that's important for us to understand too, that an angel is not always, it's not a celestial being, but they can be men. Because Lot actually was bringing them into his house, and he was feeding them and putting them up for the night. And it goes on to say that they were men as well too, further on in the chapter. So that's an important thing to understand, because there can be angels that are, and it says, as we read later on, but there can be angels that we just don't even recognize or realize that are angels in our lives that are walking around as men and women, right?
Mm-hmm.
Sure. And the second thing that I want to bring about, which is actually verse 14, it says, Lot went out and spake unto his sons-in-law, which married his daughters. And what I immediately had saw from this chapter was basically, because Lot was given a chance to really save not only his own household, but even his family members. And Lot was able to talk to his sons-in-law, the ones that married his other daughters, and get them to leave with him. But it says here, but he seemed as one that mocked unto his sons-in-law. And I thought that was an interesting verse, and it stuck out to me, because Lot was given an opportunity to save not just his own immediate family, but those that were even close to him, his sons-in-law, and they didn't receive the message that he was bringing to them. They didn't. So and what I was thinking about with that was, how many people have we have tried to help us or to save us, so to say, and we just didn't even acknowledge them, or we took it as a joke and we didn't take it for real. But these people were given a chance to really save their actual life, and because they didn't listen or adhere to the message that Lot was bringing to them, then they actually perished and were destroyed with the rest of the city. So I thought that was another important thing that stuck out to me, of how there was a chance even for these people, just because of their association with Lot, to be saved, but because they didn't listen to the message of Lot, then they were destroyed like the rest of the people. So, alright, and like I said, again, there was a lot of other things that came about from this chapter, and a lot of other lessons that we could go into. But I really encourage you to read it for yourselves, and we will see you again tomorrow. So thank you for listening to today's Lesson for Life. Thank you for joining me today, Isaiah.
Welcome.
And go ahead and create yourself a wonderfully blessed day today. You have the power to create, so create yourself a blessed day. Alright? And we will talk again tomorrow.